as you can see here, I have only put up one player's name, and that is Changho. Changho, as some of you are aware who study games regularly, no doubt like Isildur does, he's a very, very strong player who occasionally gives us these wonderful, wonderful games that express a specific topic to go over. Whenever I need a really, really great clear-cut example for my lecture, I can usually turn to Lee Changho, and somewhere in his list of games there's like a really great topic to go over. Like, you don't do this in games. Why? Because you can see it here. Or you do this in games. Why? Because there's a really great example there. So, to that end, we have this game. I'll answer that later, my boy. So to that end, we have this game that I have selected. Changho is black. I have not told you who white is, simply because it will ruin the surprise. We start off the game as we always start off in games that I go over, with very, very few exceptions, in that, yeah, pretty basic standard opening. Nothing unusual occurring. We have a 4-4 and a 3-4 point from black, as well as from white. So this game can go in any direction. The game goes in a large knight enclosure. Bit of unorthodox, but leaning more towards the influence variety. Alright, might have an influential game here. That could be kind of cool. White has choices. White could play Chinese, though slightly unusual, not ruled out. White could split or approach. However, since we all study pro games, there is something we know about A. What do we know about A that we did not know previously? Let's say in the last 10 years or so. How has A changed? Why is A no longer favorable? It's boring. Wrong answer. Does anybody else know how A has changed? Approach D16, make big stuff. I like that, and I think Isildur got it as well. Yeah, trouble with A is we don't usually do this method of approach anymore, which used to be the staple and style for so many different games. Pretty easy to predict how this is going to result. White can come out. Alright, I've been lagging on KGS for I don't know how long now. It's kind of getting on my nerves. White can come out, you know, borrow stones, make shape, jump on, etc, etc, etc. But, could play that, or we can see how white approaches, or how white responds to our approach, and make large area with enclosure and extensions. And this is usually regarded as too fast, somewhat too good for black, so we kind of don't do it anymore. Now we tend to approach the 4-4 stone instead. Wanting to make use of his enclosure, black is going to pincer. Alright. Not wanting his stone being completely useless, white does not jump out here, because that does not make any sense, given that there's nothing really to obtain for ourselves when we jump out in this location. I mean, what would we be trying to do? We'd be trying to not go into the corner because we can't make any kind of base here, right? That wouldn't make any sense. This just does not work. I mean, you might have an idea in the back of your head that there's a Joseki out there where you can jump out and lean, but that's not with the pincer so far away. There's no way of saving this result. We could cap, but that's the definition of the slowest plays you can possibly think of, because all we're doing now, I guess, is hoping that we can get this kind of shape, and just maybe live here, I guess, is the goal here, and that's just way too slow. So no reason to jump out. If you are jumping out, chances are you are doing it very, very badly, or maybe this is white's corner, then maybe you could be like, all right, I'm going to jump out because I'm going to attack and have fun. Nope, I do not want to put in the white name. I will later, but not right now. Alright, 1 second. This is... Oh, okay, we're good. Never mind. I thought my broadcast was slightly messed up, but it's not. Oh, no, it's fine. Normally I do put in the white name, but I'm not today, for reasons. You'll see. Alright, so, right. Changing directions, obvious. 3-3, also acceptable. Jumping out, very much not acceptable. No, it's not me. Though it's funny, I'm going to go back to that in a minute, because that's actually funny. You'll see why in a minute. Let's see. White hits 3-3. We go into very normal Joseki here, in which we don't block this way, because that's pretty good on white. Black has to do really painful things now. I mean, do we go back and play here? Was that really Sente? Is he also going to get this kind of thing? We don't like that. We don't like being over-concentrated. So usually we block this way. This is a little bit unusual. Usually we see this kind of thing. Something like this. Trading the Atari, the stone that we used to Atari there at R13 very, very lightly, because who cares if this is played? And this isn't a very large threat either. If white wants to make a weak group right next to the wall, that's great. Walls are for. Walls are used to attack. You want to cut and try to make a weak group right there at the wall? That saves me having to figure out what I'm going to use it for. So, all good there. We go back into the main variation. Minor detour, but got there in the end. And then we just see something that's a little bit unusual, because we established that there is Aji lingering in Black's wall, but Black has decided to be wonderfully greedy and extend all the way to K17, despite the fact that Aji is remaining. So I want predictions from you people. Will this decision come back to bite Changho in the butt? Is this an acceptable extension? How do you imagine this upper right fourth of the board is going to continue? What would you be thinking as white? Because you know it's not the normal move. Normally we are a little bit closer, lean on it, make certain that the stone can't really come back to haunt us, that we have ways to get influence still. But this, ooh, this is just weird. Nope, not really over-concentrated. Narrower would be respecting the amount of Aji that's left in both O17 and at Q13. Ronan would be like, it's a trap! White Tanuki, B, no points on top fight later. Alright, that's good. That's actually a very, very good point. If you know that there's that much Aji lingering in a position, you don't actually have to do anything about it right now. You could just let it fall completely on the shoulders of your opponent to be like, alright dude, you do something about that right now, and don't come out of your room until you do. Meanwhile, you can just go and develop other things. You could do that. Just send Li Changho to his room while he thinks about what he did. I like that. White's a little bit more aggressive, though. White's like, forget you. You will defend yourself right now. Not later. Answer me. You missed the opening. Who is white? Nobody knows yet. White is all of us. Yes, exactly. White is all of us. Because there are many people here, and who are maybe watching this later on YouTube, who would probably cut here and choose to attack. Except, of course, Valius. Valius would be a bit more discreet. He'd use it later. Yes, FC. Actually, that's exactly what it is. Congratulations. We can see that you are indeed a Dawn player who can read things through. That is precisely the reason why I did not do this. But alright. One thing that white wants to do is surround black's wall. So one thing black does not want to do is let his wall be surrounded. So clearly, black's going to jump out. Okay. So far everything makes sense. Now, we've got a very important decision to make. We've got two groups that are under attack. How do we know which one to defend? Or do we just like flip a coin? Roll some dice. Evens defend 2, odds defend 1. Let's see. Which one's closer to being surrounded? Well, that would be 1. 1 is closer to being surrounded. I mean, that's just like 1 move away. 2 needs at least 2. Which one? Always the weaker. Okay, the weaker one's number 2. But Jerba says, forget all of you. The cutting stones are the more important ones. And I'm going to go with Jerba. We could try and bring out 1. That probably wind up killing off the cutting stones. For reasons that... I'll just show a quick variation here. Let's see. White defends cutting stones. If we were to say something along the lines of, I'm going to defend this instead, this comes out. There we go. And now we're again in the same situation that we were just a minute ago. 1 move surrounds the top. 1 move surrounds the cutting stones. So we haven't really defended these, so I guess we're going to do it again, and then our cutting stones are going to die. So the question is, how much did we get out of sacrificing the cutting stones? But the K-17's not really going to die anytime soon. It can still extend, it can still get out. I should mark these. There, extending, getting out, there we go. It can even threaten to cut through. So K-17 going to be completely fine. Cutting stones completely dead. And M16 still in trouble. Whereas if we save the cutting stones, both groups are still in trouble, right? A needs defense, and B is very close to being attacked. Alright, so drop down, sure, why not? Can't over-concentrate us very much. Picking up some points in territory. 017 is dead, but maybe we can do something. Maybe we can sacrifice it. Maybe we can use it for Aji later. White decides to do something immediately, which I kind of don't agree with very much. Because we kind of just got through mentioning how hard it is to defend both of them. White does seem a tad impatient. Oh, you would be surprised. I used to be the most impatient player ever. If I saw any weakness, I went after it immediately. Anything and everything. It wasn't until I actually started teaching. This is stupid. It wasn't until I actually started teaching that my play became more patient. Because I realized that I had to be, because it's not nice to just slaughter everyone in like 30 moves. So you can't do that to your students, so you have to be more patient. So there you go. I just gave everyone a really, really great reason as to why you should teach someone. Alright. So yeah. Obviously, white needs a student, because he's being really, really impatient here. Why is this bad? Okay, let's go back. Here we had a problem. We had two weak groups. We are saving one. We did not save the other because we know that we were still in horrible, horrible amounts of danger. Okay, great. So black comes out, and the situation has not changed any. There are still... I want to call F-17 dead, but let's just call it a weak group for the moment. If we try and do the same thing, nothing is altered in any way, shape, or form. The cutting stones are still in trouble, O-17 is still in trouble, and K-17 is still going to probably be completely fine. Nothing's changed in response for black. We're going to go ahead and separate, threatening to surround on multiple sides. Cutting stones are stronger now, yes, but they can still be attacked. I mean, you can imagine, for example, let's say, even a large knight coming off of here, and you realize that there's a large area that might be growing, while this is just trying to defend itself. So we have a way to attack and expand at the same time. So we should be happy. Plus, while white is just trying to look around and live, what isn't he doing? He's not really putting much pressure on us. He's not trying to develop a framework. He's not trying to get large amounts of influence. He's just trying to live. And if your opponent's just trying to live, then they should probably just be resigning because the game's not going to go very well. Alright, so black comes out, white says, okay, there's a large, yes. I have not ruined the tree yet. White says, I heard bat loud and clear, black's trying to develop and attack at the same time, and that's clearly too much, so let's ruin that. We've all played white, okay? Every one of us here has played white before. Not him specifically, but we've all played this kind of player that's trying to dance back and forth and do everything at the same time. No doubt there are indentations from where your fist has repeatedly hit your desk during such games against a player like this. So we should all know exactly. Every player on Taigem ever. Yeah, okay. That's fair. That's fair to say. But alright. So how do we respond against every player on Taigem ever? Because this is a nice example of finding out what's more important. That's one of the reasons why I picked this game. Because this is a really great exercise in identifying the weak groups and seeing if we're defending them properly and defending them at the right time. So which of the groups do we defend here? There are three. There's 1, 2, and 3. R12 is weak. I agree. Everyone agree that we need to defend R12? Or should we play K16 and take all of our glorious profit? You vote Q9 is... okay. Everyone's voting 3. Alright, that's good. Profit all the way. No reason to profit right now. All we need to do is defend ourselves because the burden is still firmly on white to not get all of his stones killed. So let's not give him any more strength to get for free. For example, let's say that he can't kill the 3, right? Let's say that's not possible and we did do this. Even something as simple as ensuring that these cutting stones can never be killed ever again because they have shape is value lost. Because we never get to attack them ever again. So here, we can, and we profited. So, it's cool. I mean, granted, we're probably going to get surrounded, and that's going to be really, really bad for us. But even if we just settle, it's still pretty good for white, given the situation that he was in. Alright, so we defended ourselves with O10 here as white. So clearly that means it's time to go back and attack. Because who's got time to play more than one move to a group at one time? That's just too many moves. Clearly, we need to defend everything. So alright. Must defend everything. Free strength, okay. That's pretty good for white. This group's doing well. Black's defending himself. White's getting some strength to try to surround Black's group. Alright. And this is where Aju is important. At first glance, this looks like we have screwed up huge. If you weren't able to read, and you just opened up a board, or you were at a Go Club, and looked over someone's shoulder, and you saw the position they were in, and you'd be like, wow, they've screwed up big time. I mean, their wall is being surrounded. White's going to profit a lot from that, clearly. Easy game for white. But those who can actually read start noticing a few interesting things. Interesting things such as, well, you're trying to surround me with a 2-space extension. And whatever shape that is. Not to mention the fact that I don't even know what to say over here. So white is really, really thin, as Bob Woosted just pointed out. So it looks impressive. I like the principle behind getting stronger and then surrounding or attacking your target. That's good. But shape is important. So black comes down. White's going to be very, very aggressive and greedy. Patient black is just going to Hane, because why not? What's he going to do? Cut? That's crazy. He'll get himself completely surrounded if he does that. Gonna go ahead and connect. And here's where some interesting points start to arise. This makes the P13 cutting stones weak, doesn't it? It is making those weak. Yes, you are quite correct about that. And we can see that immediately when black chooses to throw in. Because it would seem that having a 2-space extension and large knights do not make for the most solid connections ever. So the fact that that's thin is really coming into play. Why O12 instead of M11? M11. Oh, just drop down? Well, this gets a little bit annoying. Right now, white is currently poking at your cut point. And you're trying to take advantage of the fact that white can't cut because this still exists, I guess. But you don't know if that's going to be the case for more than one more move. Because what if you do that and white finds a way to defend himself in Sente? Can he go back and cut you now? Because if he can, you're surrounded and things aren't going well for you anymore. So right now, the threat is there. You can take advantage of it. White might have to respond to us. He doesn't. He sees profit and he's going after it. Very interesting player. I will grant him that. He looked like he was crazy. This is a pro game, yes. White looked like he was completely insane, with all of the weak groups that are running around, and this very, very weak shape that he was making. But he's apparently not actually trying to kill his opponent. He's just trying to force his opponent to defend himself so he can keep developing. Interesting idea. Unfortunately, it does involve giving away a bunch of cutting stones, and it appears to also involve giving away some fourth line territory in Sende. And the trouble with giving away or developing walls in Gotei is you can reduce the walls. Right? If we're alive on top, and there's no move around, I don't know, let's say C9, then we can reduce a 10th line wall. True, it is a 10th line wall. So we're going to be very, very careful in how we reduce it, right? We're going to count, and we're going to be like, okay, this wall is huge, right? So what we probably don't want to do is we probably don't want to play here, because that's a little bit too close. Just a bit. We need to make certain that we can get 2-space extensions no matter how we play. Otherwise, our opponent's going to crush us, and we're going to die. Could play C9. Could play C9. Black opts for C10. White says I push. Black says I force cut. Because we're not going to probably play this way. This way is a little bit too passive, right? We wouldn't want to... This is not the variation that we are looking for. I was wondering who would say that. You're wanting white to play this way instead, I think. Correct? That's what my book told me to do. Since black has b15, he's fine. b15? True. We can still jump out. We can still make shape. We can still attach. So it looks like either way, black's going to be okay. Black's far enough away that he has plenty of ways to make shape. Well, the cost isn't actually as large as you would think it is, because where's the profit from white going to come from? Bottom left-hand corner, okay. Upper left-hand corner, okay. But he's still behind. A lot. So he needs to try to grab the bottom of the board, I guess? Doesn't white get profit if black does those things? Depends on what he does first. Like, how would you respond here? Would you respond with this? I would assume so. Knowing your opponent's going to live, you're probably going to just do something along those lines. So the development is going to be in this area for white, right? After black's defended himself? So you could probably play this way. It's going to be really defensive, though, because white is no longer going to be the aggressor. White's going to have to try to build up and defend himself for the rest of the game, because he has to match the territories given away, the cutting stones that are dead, the right-hand side, which is still a bit of a question mark, and the corner that is at the moment still black's. So he's got a lot to make up if he wants to play this defensive style. Anyway, playing here, play a bit more aggressively, trying to unsettle black here. As you can see, no base for black. I'm sorry, did I miss something? Babusa just went crazy. Oh, your son did. Okay. Apparently your son does not like black's moves, I guess. I don't know. Alright, so we're going to get a base for ourselves, finally. Those are important. White's threatening to already change directions, develop the bottom, while attacking this middle. Turns for a base. Grabs the extension. Ensures life. And now here's where interesting things occur. So far the game looks fairly reasonable, I'd say. White picked up some territory. He's got possibilities, potential. In the middle, can keep things low, can expand, has some influence there, and he's reducing. So, alright. Not sure how this is going to go, but it doesn't seem completely bad. Black says, I'm going to poke here first because you're not connecting up your zones. White says, okay. Wasn't really trying to. Using all of the Aji. Only have 3 liberties there. That seems like it's a bit of an issue. White has to kill. Or black has to kill, sorry. White gets to Atari. And now we've got something interesting. Now what we have coming up is the lesson that I learned from this game. Now count the points. We could count the points. But let me save you some trouble. This group is fine. Oh, come on, KGS, stop lagging. This group is fine. This group is fine. Fine. That's all part of the same one. And fine. So all of black's groups are fine. Our white's group's fine. Well, we've got somewhat questionable status here. There's weak points there. Bit of an overextension here. Well, not overextension, but there's an invasion there. And everything else is fine. This is fine, and that's fine, and that's fine. So we've got a potential weak group maybe in the middle, and weak point on the bottom, as well as ladder, of course, that's going in the lower left-hand corner as well. So it stands to reason that that's probably a good point to play. Why? Because we might get ladder breakers, we might get invasions, and this is white's hopeful area to play. He wants the potential here. So let's see what he allows us to get. White plays diagonal. White h3. Ooh, we're going to see in a minute. You're about to be answered. You are about to be answered. White plays a diagonal, which we usually play when we're trying to kill something. Black says, I'm out. White says, no, you are not. Black says, are you sure about that? White says, I'm very sure about that. And yes, we do have Ko here. A very, very, very aggressive Co. An all or nothing Co. A ruin your day kind of Co. Because in this Co, black has too many threats, and white resigns immediately. Game over. Can't fight it. Can't fight it. Lesson learned, Co sucks. No, white resigns. All or nothing Co. Co can't be fought. There's too many threats. The local threats, or not the local threats, the threats over on the left-hand side are way too numerous. Can't even begin to fight it. So who is white? Alright, I'll give his name. Why not? You were right. You probably have never heard of this guy. Let's put their ranks there. There we go. But yeah, I didn't want you looking up this because it had an interesting ending that I didn't want spoiled. I laughed when I was reviewing this game. I'm like, oh yeah, Co, I'd probably lose that. And then sure enough, one move later, he loses it. It's like, yup, we're reviewing that game. So yeah, white resigns. Can't fight it, game's over. Okay, rank doesn't matter quite like that, Mr. Monday. For example, one player who we... No, not just saying. No, not just saying. I'm calling you out on this. One player who we all have our eye on, for example, is only 4P. And he wrecks everyone. So rank totally doesn't matter. It is completely fine to lose to lower down professionals because the difference in strength can be extremely slight to non-existent to even overpowering. You have no idea what you're facing when you're playing a lower... I'm not sure how old he is, actually. That's a very good question. I'll have to look that up and get back to you on that one. Unless someone else knows. Teenager, definitely, though. FC says he's 17? Alright. I'll believe that. True. Rank tends to be a measure of past results. Because usually you rank up these days, especially if you get to 9 Dan. To get to 9 Dan, you have to like win tournaments. Anyway, so I thought this game was interesting. It had a lot of really, really great... For a short game, I mean, this is 99 moves, right? For a very, very short game, it had a lot to actually go over. I mean, we found a greedy player who had an interesting style, using his style of, play everywhere to sacrifice and... Nope, tree didn't die. But then again, it's only 99 moves. But yeah, interesting style, play everywhere, to sacrifice and gain influence. Okay, I can see that. But at the same time, we have another wonderful code to go over. What do I think of? I'm not sure. The Jubango series was kind of interesting, though I kind of think of it as, I don't know. I'm thinking of actually devoting a video to my impressions of the Jubango. Oh, you said all played very well, though. Obviously. I wish that Ghoulie had won. At least a few more games. But, you know, whatever. Let's see. Do we have another game to go over? I'm debating about it right now, actually. I knew this game was going to be short, so I do have another one picked out. I'm looking at it right now to debate how much I actually want to go over it. I don't think I'm going to go over all of it. I didn't want to go over all of it, which is why I selected it. I only wanted to go over how much of this game did I want to go over. Up until here? I guess we can go over. How many moves is that? Oh my god, is that like 90 moves? Nah. Suppose we can do that. Alright, I'm gonna go with another game kind of quickly. Because it was weird. It was really, really weird. So let me go ahead and close and open that game up. Alright, so another basic opening. Duel 3-4 versus 4-4 and 3-4. Only this time we are going to use a more territorial style of play. Yes, my boy. White approaches interestingly. We don't... Too late. The mystery's gone. I just thought who it was. I guess there are a few different parks that it could be. Let's see. Territorial opening, or Orthodox opening like this is usually approach high. Here we have it approach 2 space. It's a little bit different than usual. A little bit different, but that's okay. White decides to play very, very lightly, leaving options available either for invasion, reduction, all that good stuff. Black probes, wanting to know what he can do on the right hand side. If white pincers, then we're going to go for an invasion. If white backs off, as we see here, well then forget the invasion, we're going to go for expansion. So we're going to force white to defend himself in order to get something for ourselves. That is the value for the probe. Isn't left more important? Left is important, but you never know what your opponent wants to do. Maybe your opponent has a very specific idea in mind and may actually pincer you here, because they figure maybe with the influence on the right hand side we can go and play lightly and develop. Instead of BF3, no. This, because we know we can expand, as we are seeing here, then we have a nice reason to play. We are questioning if we can expand here, or if we're going to go into a territorial game here. We could approach on the left-hand side, but then we're probably never going to do anything on the bottom, because we've given up that, we've given up Sente for that. Either white might use Sente to... Come on, KGS. There we go. White might use Sente to jump out again, if he gets Sente, which kind of nullifies anything we're going to do elsewhere, which is okay if you want to just play a territorial game. I mean, this can be fine, but... Robo-Bat. Alright, that should be done. Am I dropping frames? No frames dropped, it's all KGS. KGS has been lagging a lot for me lately. I don't know if you guys have encountered the same thing. Alright, so we've got our probe. White backs off, connecting on up. White finishes off his little bit of a base there, otherwise this is still available. Proverbs insist against Q8 kind of moves. That's really, yeah. Absolutes in Go are really hard to actually nail down. Chances are, if you find someone telling you to always do something or never do something, then they think you're really new and can't handle anything complicated, or they don't know what they're talking about. I mean, for almost everything that you can possibly tell someone in Go, there are examples against ever following that advice totally. Which is kind of what makes Go fun. Never always do something. Exactly. Anyway, getting our expansions going on. White's getting his territory going on. Black's like, hey, that's great. I can expand. I like that. White says, I thought you'd like that. I'm playing territory. I get to invade you like a maniac. I mean, I got all the territory I wanted. I got the right. I got some corners. That's all I need. Time to make your life annoying. Okay. We have a lot of ways to respond to this. Typically speaking, we would go here, or maybe here. White says, forget all that, or Black says, forget all that noise. I'm going to keep expanding. It's like, you want to invade me, but I'm going to expand faster than you can invade me, and then we'll see who's doing what. So, all right, trying to expand, trying to get all our expands on. Keep expanding. There we go. Not Sente. White's like, alright, I'm just going to keep reducing you then. Black attaches here, which is a very interesting move, because if we extend up, then the Hane threatens to rob us of any base we thought we were going to get here. So we can't extend up. This move is actually surrounding us. Right? Because if we do this, that's not a livable shape. This isn't. This when we envision what shape we want to make when we're invading, we don't think Tetris. Just doesn't work. So oddly enough, that attachment is surrounding us. How annoying! How annoying! Pressure so it can't keep expanding. White's forced to struggle and get shape. Black says, okay, you've struggled and you got shape, but I think you need to defend your 3-3. White says this area is getting a little bit too close for my liking. I'm going to expand out. Black connects. And White gets to cut through as a result, or not cut through, but clamp as a result. Alright. So far we've had a game take a very weird turn. Was all influential. Black did not even pretend to be defending it. He's like, yeah, that's going to be defended eventually. The question is, what is my opponent giving up in order to reduce me? It's like, okay, didn't defend the corner, great. Taking Sente, killing that corner. Well, not killing it, but removing it for black territory, or for white territory. It's now ours. So what else can we get here? White defended him on the left. So we get to go back and cut through here, because there's cutting points. And we've got a wall. Alright, seems reasonable. Trying to force bad situations for our opponent. Yep. You can see immediately that if this is played, then that is dead. You can see that if this is played, well, kind of getting into the same problems. We're getting netted all over the place. This is turning out quite badly for us. We have to, like, what, Atari here, I guess, and then White's coming out. Defensive. Ladder still doesn't quite work. Of course, that does. But then again, so does this. And now as a result, it looks like we're going to be fine. So a bit of an odd situation. Black got the profit on the right. White got to connect up because of the ladder. Though it bears noting that there's a lot of influence still in the middle for white, or for black. One of them. So black keeps developing that. White's strengthening himself over here because this only has 2 liberties. So we can use that to our advantage, forcing it around, making certain that it can't attack us, has to defend itself. It's defending itself, then it's not killing us in the middle of the board. Hane is a must, otherwise we lose more stones. Same thing here. Have to connect, otherwise we lose more stones. Our group in the center is now in serious amounts of trouble because despite the fact that this used to be an area completely devoid of white stones, nice strong area for black, it looks like this middle is now under white's control. White's getting shape, weak groups there. Bit of a problem, Yep, the R8 sacrifice is turning out very, very well for white. So we have to defend ourselves. That's not a threat, so we keep jumping. Right? Not a threat because we have killed all them stones down there. So no reason to connect. Okay, there we go. Wow. So we're just running away, and running away, and running away in an area that was supposed to be our strength. That's gotta hurt. Now there is a small upside, a very tiny upside, that we get to cut here and profit on the right? Maybe? We've got to be able to profit on the right. What do you think? Are these stones dead? Because if they are, then we don't look too badly here. Because we developed a huge amount of influence, and then we had to run away from it because we were dying in our influence. Not dead? White lives already? What? How does white live already? Oh no, everybody knows about the R15 attachment. But first, Sente. Sente before R15. This threatens to kill 2 stones. Good strong move, and then the R15. So Sente first. So Babusta. Very, very good. White responds, or black responds nice and strong. White responds nice and light because we still are trying to kill things. Black's like, okay, I can poke through there. White says, have at it. Black says, but poke? No, I didn't mean that. I meant run. I'm running. I'm not trying to poke anything. I'm just running. White says, okay, I'll just get myself a base then. Tries to disrupt it, but we can make shape and poke in Sente. And if we're making shape and poking in Sente, and our opponent is not keeping us surrounded, and we are now surrounding him. So this game I kind of thought was amazing because one of the things a lot of people have trouble with is influence. In fact, a lot of people just kind of tend to play for like these large frameworks and they just sit back because, especially at the amateur level, like your opponent's not going to be able to reduce that. I mean, come on, that's crazy talk. If your opponent could actually count accurately and reduce well and all that stuff, he'd be a pro. So that's not going to happen. It tends to be in the bit more of a easier way to win among amateurs. And yet here we had a large amount of influence. And here we have a large amount of influence that is completely turning around. I've seen very few games where the board completely flips. And here is one of them. Black was supposed to be nice and strong in the middle, and now we're just wondering if he's going to die. So, alright. Black pokes. Alright, that's Sente. Try and disrupt shape. So is white. Creates Aji. But that Aji is obviously going to be used to threaten to surround, because we can't draw out that stone. We cannot draw out that stone. If we do it, the middle's dead. You're GG, you lose. So we're going to take. Make certain that we're not getting cut apart. Black goes over. Now the stone can be drawn out. We're going to take. Finally, we get to maybe attack the middle group. I don't know, maybe, possibly. But probably not, because that one stone is just way not strong enough. Trying to get white, or trying to get black to protect the cut point. Hope we can attack. Maybe we can. E10 can be sliced up later too. E10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, E10. Yes, true. All I gotta do in the middle is just not die. So white's gonna be all about that not dying. Don't get distracted. Need to live in the middle. That is our goal. Get to extend, which is good. It really ensures that white doesn't profit too much. But still, can't kill white. Despite finally getting a position where you can attack your opponent with all of that influence that you wanted. No. Not gonna happen. Not gonna be done. Not possible. And that's pretty much where I wanted to end this particular game. Because the main point of this game for me isn't in the rest of this. And I'll give you a link to this. So you can actually watch the rest of this if you'd like. But yeah, the main point of this game wasn't what happens later. It was the fact that, yeah, white wins. Of course he wins. He's awesome. He doesn't lose. Unlike the rest of us. We had this really amazing game that started off, as we've seen before, framework on bottom, black has a bunch of influence, he controls the bottom of the board. And yet it completely flips around to where, no. White has the influence. Black's the one in trouble. It's like, how does that happen? Aji is how that happens. Don't see it very often. Don't see it very often. So yeah, I definitely recommend... Ooh, and so a couple of moves that we don't usually see, like this one. This one was actually quite interesting, I thought, as well. Because we can see the goal of it, and how he responded to the invasion. How he felt confident to play away, because he had a lot of options left on the bottom. So yeah, this invasion I thought was really, really interesting, and pretty much deserves... The game deserves going over simply because of what happened here on the bottom. So, hope you guys enjoyed that too. So yeah, 2 fun, interesting, quick games. Why not K3? You could do K3. Doesn't that turn into... Let's see, we're probably not going to do this, right? Not with all that's an influence here. I guess we're going to go and try to go for a Ko. I don't think I like Ko. I just had a game where we solve we don't like Co. Though in this case, I think Black's got the threats. I mean, where are the threats coming from? We can get rid of... Come on, KGS, work with me here. We've got the standard ones, right? Go away. I mean, standard threat there. Standard threat here. Standard threat here. Not really sure where White would get his threats from, though. A threat over there. And after that, I'm kind of drawing a blank. Anyway, I thought they were interesting games. I hope you did too. I did not upload last lecture, so next upload will be this lecture and last lecture as well. Yes, I would review it, and I would hope he loses horribly as to never play that ever again. So yeah, both lectures will be uploaded. I almost deleted it, actually. But yeah, I will have those up within, like, I don't know, by the weekend or something. So you can look forward to those. Anyway, thanks for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed the lectures, and I will, of course, see you next time, as per usual. Take care, everyone.